A lot of us are living in lack, not because it is designed for us to live in lack, it's because we included lack in our thinking.
Yes.
Right? We included lack in our experience, and that lack becomes what we experience, right? And so abundance is your birthright, but you can choose the level of abundance. You can have an abundance of abundance, or you can have an abundance of lack.
Yes.
You can make that decision, and quantum leaping is just believing in the infinite possibilities if you choose to. Right? Believing in those infinite possibilities that are reserved for you.
Put me on the Celestine prophecy. Nothing here is stopping me. Consciously or bodily, low energy don't bother me. Love is my priority, so my vibrations 444 sonically. My brain working out, meditation, my cardio. They hid it from us in the books. You provided the audio.
Welcome to another episode of Mental Wealthness, Black Fly on the Wall show. I got an amazing guest with me here. Y'all know who he is, man. You seen the face. Ash, introduce yourself, man.
Man, Ash Cash, the financial motivator, author, podcast host, just somebody who helps people live in abundance, understand that abundance is their birthright.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I love your energy. I love what you do. So kudos to you. Much gratitude for you being here. What makes you you?
Man, what makes me me? The honorable Curtis Jackson once said, 50 Cent, joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain. And so I believe life is about contrast, about being able to see the good and the bad and know that everything is working for your greater good. I am somebody who is highly enlightened. And so I'm able to look at everything from my life and how I grew up as a young kid in the projects. So I grew up in the projects in Harlem, to then going into corporate America and being a CEO of a credit union. So I was a banker for 15 years, then leaving corporate America, and then becoming an author and just killing, being at the top of the game in there. And then, being a podcaster, being at the top of the game there. Like I'm, one of the top financial podcasters on the planet.
Absolutely.
Right. So when you look at all of the 500,000 business shows on Apple, I rank top 200 every week, 26 countries.
Nice.
And so I'm just somebody who understands that everything that happens to you in your life is happening for you to help you get to that next level. And because I have the best of both worlds, right? As somebody, I grew up in the projects, but somebody who has a lot of wealth and abundance, and I can bridge the gap. And I'm able to talk I'm able to talk in a language that people understand. And then also I'm able to allow people to believe in themselves, right? Because I don't think no one's better than anybody. We all have the same access to the source, right? Abundance is your birthright.
Absolutely.
So we all have the same access. It's just a matter of, are we allowing ourselves to live in the abundance that's reserved for us? And I do a great job. I think God has put me here to be an example, right? That I'm special, but I'm not special, right? I have this saying that says greatness on display, which, the acronym G.O.D, right? We're all made in the image and likeness of God. And so our only job is to be greatness on display. And so I want to, from single parent home, youngest of 3, kicked out of school 4 times, one felony away or one mistake away from a felony, but then to do all this extraordinary things, God put me here to remove every excuse for a certain amount of people though, right? Because I think everybody has their own assignment. And I believe my assignment is specifically towards a certain group of people who have a past, who've been through some stuff, and they're using that as an excuse why they can't live their best life. And God said, I'm gonna give you a person who has been through the same things you've been through, but I'm gonna allow his life to be so great that there's no denying that he's tapped into a higher source. So I believe that's what makes me me.
Absolutely, I love it. Like that's a good way to start the episode off right there, man.
I mean, like,
No, I love it, man, because the biggest thing that you said, you was one mistake away from a felony,
100%, yeah.
which could have cost you a lot. Yeah. But realizing now, looking back, hindsight is 2020. You see that those small and those incremental gains that you made throughout your life has prepared you for the moment where you are right now.
Yeah.
I'm also an advocate that that we all are connected to source.
Yeah.
And the universe is infinite.
Yes.
On what we can achieve.
Yes.
I was talking to Lee and my boy and we was talking about quantum leaps.
Yep.
Like the ability. Well, I'm reading the book U Squared and the ability.
That's the one right there.
Ooh.
Oh,
man.
That's saucy. Like,
man, yo.
That's saucy. That's the one right there.
I'm tapped in, man. The book is what?
35 pages.
But it's like,
but it's the best. It's the best 35 pages.
It's up there with like As a Man Thinketh.
100%.
Think and Grow Rich.
All of it.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm like, I was blown away by just reading those, like these 2-page chapters.
Yeah.
That it talks about in quantum physics. There's not an explanation of how an atom goes from point A to point B, making a quantum leap.
Yep.
And it's like, you can think about it with your life. Like, we're trained, right, to believe that we have to go step A, B,
absolutely.
C, D, and you have to do these things in this particular order to get to the destiny where you want to be, but that's not necessarily true.
Yep, exactly.
If we're operating off of universal principles and standards and laws and universal laws, we have to understand that the universe is mental.
Right.
And anything that we can possibly imagine, we can create and we can achieve.
Facts.
It's all about the ability to have faith in yourself.
Exactly.
To manifest the reality that you seek.
Yep.
And it all starts with the knowledge. You say you're highly enlightened. I also classify myself as highly enlightened because you want to make sure that you're always feeding your soul, your spirit, and your mind with the knowledge that you need to deploy whenever you're ready to take that quantum leap.
100%. And it's about belief system, right? So here's what I think people don't understand, that we live in an inclusion world, right? Which means you cannot exclude anything out of the world. Mm-hmm. Which means, what does that mean? That means whatever you include in your vibration, in your life, in your visual, whatever you include, you will experience. Mm-hmm. And so the reason why I'm saying that is because a lot of us are living in lack, not because it is designed for us to live in lack, it's because we included lack in our thinking. Yes. Right? We included lack in our experience, and that lack becomes what we experience, right? Mm-hmm. And so abundance is your birthright, but you can choose the level of abundance. You can have an abundance of abundance, or you can have an abundance of lack. Yes. You can make that decision, and quantum leaping is just believing in the infinite possibilities if you choose to. Right? Mm-hmm. Believing in those infinite possibilities that are reserved for you. Henry Ford just once said, there's those who think they can and those who think they can't, and they're both right. Yes. And sometimes what we don't realize is that the life that we're living is in direct proportion to what we actually believe. Mm-hmm. And because it's a universal law that we're going to always get what we include and what we believe, then that's why we're living out the life that we're living.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you. Yeah. Because it's as above, so below.
It's facts.
So you cannot not believe in that if you believe in temperature. Yeah. You can experience temperature. You can experience it being cold, or you can experience it being hot. Either way, you're going to experience temperature. Yeah. So you can experience abundance with abundance, or you can experience abundance with lack. Yep. And so we have to always be able to, it's critical for us as a community, as a culture, to learn the laws that we live by. Yes. Because the laws are going to affect you whether you believe in them or not. If you would just stand on top of this building and you jump off of it, the law of gravity is what you will experience, right? So we always have to make sure that we're learning these laws and that we're deploying them whenever we need to. So we entitled this episode, You Were Born Rich. Yes. Right? Do you believe that?
100%. Without a shadow of a doubt. Every fiber in my being tells me that anybody who is of sound mind, has breath in their body, can be, do, and have anything that they desire. Mm-hmm. Period.
Period.
That's it.
Yeah. And do you think the do you think people get caught up on where they are or the community they grew up in or the neighborhood that they grew up in? Myself, I'm also a product of a single parent home, but I don't use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
I choose how I'm going to use that, right?
Yeah.
I either can say, you know, I'm not where I'm supposed to be because I grew up in a single family home, underserved, high school, low SAT scores, yada, yada, yada. Or you could say, this is where I'm going to be and these are the things I want to deploy with that. Now, so do you believe that how grounded you are mentally affects what you achieve in this world and this reality that we living in? Because, you know, it's one thing to have goals and have frameworks that you want to achieve, but you have to be grounded mentally so that every little hiccup that you run into isn't something that completely washes you out.
Yeah. I think that there needs to be one belief, and that belief is everything is working for my greater good. That one belief. I think if everybody had that one belief, if everybody said that everything, good, bad, ugly, up, down, left, right, every single thing is working for my greater good, then we would never look at our past or anything we've been through as a hindrance, right? Because in fact, everything that you were has come into who you are, and who you are at this moment is the only thing that matters.
Yes, it's the power of now.
And so it's about now, because even if you're focusing on a tomorrow is a make-believe thought, right? Tomorrow, the future, next week, next year, all of that is a figment of our imagination. There is not a living being, nor anybody dead, who could ever say that they lived in the future. Because even when the future comes, it's still today.
Yes.
And so what we need to know is that the only time we have is right now. And if we maximize our now, if we stop spending so much time thinking about the past, if we stop spending so much time thinking about where we would be where we will be in the future, and only said, all right, I have this time right now, this currency right now, how am I going to spend it? Anything that happens, it's happening for my greater good, right? And so if something happens to me on my way to something, then I take that as a sign that I was being protected from something.
Absolutely.
And if I have that trust and I have that belief system, then I'm only expecting, right, my greater good, right? So I'm not expecting anything to go bad, and I'm like, all right, this went bad, so that's a sign from God that I shouldn't have this. No. That's saying, okay, bet. Thank you, God, right? Like, you're telling me that this part of my journey was necessary to get me ultimately to where I need to be. All right, I trust you. You woke me up another day. I still got breath in my body. I bet we good. You know what I'm saying? I think that if everybody took that mindset that, all right, everything's working for my greater good, then there's really... there's nothing to analyze, right?
Right.
Like we sit there and analyze, like, man, why me? Why this? Why that? There's really nothing to analyze. Just know that there was something that, you know, you needed to experience or go through to get you to that next level. Accept it and keep moving and keep operating in it now.
It's all about perspective.
100%.
So it's all about, we all take L's. You're either going to call it a loss or a lesson.
Yeah.
And so it's all about what you're looking at and what you're framing your mind around. Even before today, this morning, I dealt with something that was unexpected, and I either chose to say, I could have dwelled in that and got on that low vibration or that frequency of it, and that would have completely affected my day.
Yeah.
But like you said, you got breath in your body, food on the table, roof over your head. You always have to get back to the things that ground you, the most important things. Yeah. Earl Nightingale said that the things that we get for free are the things that we value the least. Whereas the things that we pay for are sometimes the things that we value the most. Yeah. An example would be sound mental health. Yeah. How many times do people wake up in the morning and say, thank you for sound mental health? Thanks. They just have it and they go about their day thinking like it's something that they expect to have. Yeah. Whereas they value that house, that car, because they actually put money into it. Yeah. But it's an equal paradox though, because you're supposed to care about the things that you get for free, the things that you're born with, right? Yeah. And so we're born with this infinite intelligence to be rich, to be wealthy, right? Do you believe that, and do you often on your days that you go about life and you're making these moves, do you believe that wealth is something that you have to attract or something that you have to earn?
Is definitely something you have to attract. Because you can't earn something that's already yours, right? Like you can't earn something that has been reserved for you. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like
It's waiting for you.
It's waiting for you, right? So like I got 2 kids, right? My daughter's 14, my son is 8.
Nice.
We got trust, life insurance, all that stuff. They didn't earn that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no earning of that. Just the mere fact that they are a child of me and my wife has entitled them to a certain level of abundance, monetary abundance, right? They still have access to whatever abundance was reserved for them through their source, right? Because I'm not their source. I'm their parent. I was chosen as a vessel, right?
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, they still have their abundance, right? So my daughter can't earn her, inheritance, if you will, because just the mere fact that she's my daughter entitles her to that, right? Same thing with wealth. Like you can't earn wealth, you're entitled to it. But again, it's all about inclusion. It's all about awareness. And so if I'm looking over here and there's 10 bottles of water and I'm thirsty, if I don't know there's 10 bottles of water there, then I'm going to continue to be thirsty.
For sure.
But if I know there's 10 bottles of water there, then when I get thirsty, I can just get up and go get some water.
So it's the awareness that shifts, that changes the paradigm.
100%, right? Because if there's no awareness of it, then you can accept anything that people tell you, right? So if I'm thirsty and there's 10 bottles of water over here, but you keep telling me to look over here, and I'm listening to you, I'm facing the water, but you keep saying, yo, Ash, go right there. The water's right there. So now I'm over here looking for the water, and I don't see the water. Now I keep going back to you, and I'm like, yo, there's no water. And you're like, oh, but you gotta do this to get the water. Do this. So now you're putting me through all of this thing, right? And finally, I just shifted, and I just made a slight shift in my gaze, and I see the water.
We were just talking about it because that's the example in Quantum Leap, right? And U squared.
Yeah.
It's about simply turning your perspective.
Yeah.
To be able to see exactly what you need.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not even a difficult act. It's not difficult.
No.
It's a minor shift.
Yes.
That'll get you to that destination.
Yes.
But we were so conditioned to say we gotta work hard, right? Especially our community. In our community, what they say, oh, we gotta work hard, go to school. Like everything is a struggle. Like in order to get anything that's like divinely left for us, we are taught that we have to struggle to get it, and we have accepted that as our identity, that we have to struggle. So because we've accepted it, anything else that seems easy is a scam. Right? It's too good to be true. Somebody's trying to get over.
What's the catch?
Right? We're so conditioned that something that's so easy as allowing the abundance, and I didn't make this up. We didn't make it up.
Right? This
is the law.
Yes.
But and this is where self-sabotage come in at. Right? Something comes so easy, and this abundance comes so easy, but we're so used to the struggle that we do something to sabotage it just to go back to where we're comfortable, which is the struggle.
Comfortability breeds contempt.
100%.
Comfortability breeds contempt, and it's kind of dissatisfying that that's where our community is, right?
Yeah.
It's almost to the point where we're not as our thought process, right? We have to consistently get back to what we were taught as children.
Yeah.
And as adults, how can we now refrain and reprogram ourselves?
Yeah.
So as adults, we have to go through this mental reprogramming, because you hear something for decades and decades, and then you get to you 30 years old and you come into this knowledge and you're like, okay, I'm completely having to retrain myself. Yeah. But imagine if as a community, if we had 1,000 black kids that was 1 year old, and from 1 year old all the way up through their teens, we taught them laws, mental laws, universal laws, this type of way of thinking, they won't know anything else.
Exactly. And stop teaching them that money is the source.
Right.
Because that's the biggest hiccup that we do. We focus so much on money, which is a neutral thing, right? It's not even the thing that you should be focusing on, right? And we focus so much on that. We give that so much value that we don't focus on the source. And because we don't focus on the source, that's where all of our issues come in. Yeah.
What's the most important thing to you in your life?
The most is health.
What's
Good
the second most important thing to you?
Love. Right. And so,
what would you say the third most important thing to you?
I would say family and community.
So you didn't even mention money.
Nah. See, here's the thing, right? Is at the end of the day, money is a neutral thing. It's a tool, but you don't really need money, right, to live your best life. Because the truth of the matter is that if you have good health, you can have access to anything. If you have love, right? If you move in love, you can build good relationships, right? If you have a strong community, strong family, like I can get access to things, right? I'll give you a prime example. I needed to shoot a commercial, and I was like, "Yo, this commercial would look good if I was in a Cullinan, in a Rolls Royce Cullinan."
Okay.
$400,000 car, and if that was my mindset, I was like, man, do I go buy it? Do I go rent it out? No. I have a friend who owns a luxury car business.
There you go.
Has access to every exotic car you could think of. I shot him a text. I said, yo, can I hold the black Cullinan with the red interior? He said, say less, I got you. Meet me here and come pick it up.
Boom.
I didn't need money. Right? All I needed was I didn't pay him anything. It was like no favor for favor.
It was love.
It was love.
It was love.
Right? And so think about all the things that we desire in life. Somebody has it. In fact, what you desire isn't the money. What you desire is the thing that money can get you. And so you're chasing money to now take that money and exchange it for something else. Well, why not just focus on that something else? Because if you focus on that something else, then now you're allowing God, your source, the universe, to guide you on how to get it.
Absolutely.
Because there's not just one way to get something, right? Because again, if God is source, if the universe is infinite possibilities, that means there are infinite ways for you to obtain that thing.
Absolutely.
I don't think anybody would be upset if they desired a mansion, if that's what they wanted, and somehow they did not have to work hard to get the mansion or use money. I don't think anybody would be upset. I don't think if the neighbor or the family that you knew from the Fresh Air Fund back in the day added you to their will and you didn't know it, and now they passed away and now you inherited this house, I don't think nobody's, nope, I don't want it because I have to work hard and I have to use money to buy it. No. And I think that's the type of openness that we have to allow in order to know that there's so many different ways to access our abundance, and let's not focus on this low form of money. I'm not disrespecting money though, right? Because money is necessary.
Absolutely.
But it's just not the only way. So I'm not going to give it all my energy, right? It's almost like having children and only focusing on one child and neglecting the other children. What's gonna happen? Yeah, that one child's gonna love you, right? Money's gonna love you. This is why we see a lot of people who have a lot of money, but then they're emptying all the other spaces in life. Why? Because all they did was focus on money. So yes, money's gonna love you, money's gonna be plentiful, money's gonna treat you right, but you're gonna have bad relationships. You're not gonna have good health. Your name's not gonna be good in the world, right? You're gonna have all these other people gonna try to take advantage of you. You're gonna have all these other negative things happening because you only focus on this one child instead of focusing on all your children, right? Which is the infinite possibilities that you have.
I love it because one of the most abundant principles that I've learned in the last year is the generative principle. And the generative principle is care.
Yeah.
What you care about.
Yeah.
So when you started talking about the commercial and you wanted the Cullinan to shoot the commercial, the universe said that he cares about his business.
Yeah.
He cares about what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So the care encompasses love. It encompasses desire. It encompasses all of these things. And so what we have to realize is that when we are fueling our desires with the things that we care about, we then are able to magnify love at its highest level so that it works for our good to attract into our lives what we want. Pure Soul Restaurant in Durham, North Carolina is one of the best plant-based restaurants in the country. Plant-based everything. Whether you are 100% plant-based or flexing your diet, Pure Soul has amazing options for everyone. With majority of the foods being locally sourced from Pine Knot Farms, a small business with sustainable practices, you taste the North Carolina love and soul through every bite. Family, Pure Soul isn't trying to convince you, they are trying to feed you. Stop by Pure Soul in Durham and tell them Black Fly on the Wall sent you. So what I've noticed even with my company is that the more I nurture it, and the more, it's kind of like a farmer that sows a seed, right? The more and more, like my grandfather was a farmer. And I think that's been one of the most magnificent things in my life over the last 6 months or so as I've grown spiritually, is that my mind is taking me back to my childhood, right? And the more and more I learn, and I realized that my grandfather was a farmer and he used to go out and farm. He cared about his crops, right? He would get on early in the morning. He would sow the seeds. He would plant the seeds. He would water it. He would till it. I remember times he would just go out there and just watch it.
Yeah.
Like that's what his desire was, right? So he cared about that. And what you sow, so shall you reap.
Facts. Yeah.
And what we have to always consider is that we are 100% accountable for the reality in the present moment that we're in right now. Yeah. And that directly coincides with the seeds that we're sowing to make sure that we're reaping the things that we sow.
Yeah, 100%. And also making sure that we're sowing those seeds in the right type of soil.
Absolutely.
Right? Because a lot of us, right, when you think about a seed, the seed has the potential. That's where all the potential lies. But if you take a seed and you bury it in concrete, it's not, it may peek its head out a little bit, right? But it's not gonna grow at the level in which it was supposed to grow, right?
Absolutely.
And so now we have to make sure that that soil that we sow that seed is fertile soil. It's getting watered, right? And then everything is gonna happen the way it needs to happen, which is why our environment is so important, right? That's why when we think about mindset, when we think about, being born rich, we need to be around other people who believe in the same thing. Oh, you were born. Oh, I was born rich. So you already know how to access your abundance. If you believe that you're born rich, but you're spending your time, you're sowing your seed, right, with people that do not believe in abundance, who believe that everything is struggle, who believe that their reward is later, that they can't access abundance right now, then guess what? All you're gonna do is you're gonna take your seed and now you're burying it in a place that that is not allowed to grow. So you have to be conscious also of who you're around, who you are allowing to water your seed. What type of information are you getting, and only surround yourself with people who at least have the same mindset or a greater mindset, meaning that you could tell by looking at their life that they have access to a life or a way of life that you're interested in, so that way you can learn from them and start implementing what they've done already in order to help access your abundance.
Which is part of the Think and Grow Rich principle, the mastermind principle.
Yes, sir.
It's essential.
Yes, sir.
Like you are who you hang around.
Absolutely.
So if you look at your life currently, you have to, and you don't like where you are, you have to then assess the people that you're around.
Yeah.
And then you have to also gain a dislike for the people that you're around so that you can make a change. Yeah. But it's essential that you coincide and that you align yourself with like-minded men and women that are on the same high frequency and vibration as you are. Yeah. And so that segues us to a lot of times, and we've been hitting on this, but I think we need to dive into it a little bit more. A lot of times people think that wealth is separate from spirituality.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times if we don't overcomplicate it, we can easily understand that wealth and spirituality and our spiritual health and our mental health and our wealth health are all on the same table.
100%. Yeah.
Right? It's very similar to what you were saying, that if you only focus on one child and you negate the others, you will see a difference. And we actually can see that in our family today.
Yeah.
Like as above, so below. Yeah. So if you focus on money, you will have money, but you will have poverty in your health, family, peace of mind, mental health. We see wealthy millionaires and billionaires commit suicide all the time.
Yeah.
I think also something that you said too is that the focusing on the now is essential.
Yes.
And I believe that if we could gain this principle as a community, that would almost eradicate anxiety. Yeah. Because anxiety is only the fear of what is to come.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if you take a step back and no longer focus on what's to come and you focus on what's in front of you right now, that'll completely shift your perspective on how you see life. Yeah. Diving into who you are now in the podcasting space, what inspired you to create your own studio space here in Atlanta, Georgia?
Yeah, so for me, it's always been about ownership. I've been an entrepreneur all my life, right? I was 8 years old packing bags at the local supermarket. Okay. I was 12 years old selling mixtapes and T-shirts on 125th Street. And so it's always been about ownership. It's always been about controlling the narrative. And now, when we look at where we are, 2023, we are in the most lucrative, like content is currency, right? And so people think that it's, we went through the physical age, right? Where you had to have brick and mortar, or that was what mattered. Like
you had the bill,
right? You had the bill.
Yeah.
But now content is currency, right? So the content that you own, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on social media, we talk about the blockchain and metaverse and having those type of content. And so for me, in order to evolve with where wealth is going, I have to be in control of the asset that I have, which is my voice, right? Which is my mind, my intellectual property. And so, building a studio out in Atlanta, to be able to control that narrative, to be able to put out content whenever I want to, that was imperative. It's almost like, instead of opening up a bank account, I opened up a studio.
There you go.
Right? Because I don't look at things in the form of how much does this cost. I now look at it as a piece of content, right? And so if I have a membership that costs $50,000, if I have courses that cost $1,000, if I have books that cost $10, now if there's something that I desire, I can look at it and say, okay, all right, that's a course. Okay, so I want I want the new Rolex. All right, bet I gotta sell 10 courses, right? Oh no, that one costs 20. All right, so that's right. And so now I'm not equating it to $1. I'm not looking at it and saying to myself, oh my God, why would somebody spend $20,000 on a watch? Because the people who care about money, who care about how much things cost, are those who exchange their time for money. Because there's a limit. Right? There's a limitation.
You're capped.
So I only have 24 hours, and I know I get paid $20 an hour. And so if I get paid $20 an hour and I need I buy a $20,000 watch, that equals 1,000 hours. That's madness. Why would somebody pay 1,000 hours for a watch? That is madness. But if I told you, well, the course costs $2,000 and all you need is 10 people.
10 people.
There's a big difference between, I need to spend 1,000 hours, or I just need to find 10 people, which sounds easier, which sounds more feasible. Would somebody really care what something costs if they associate the price with their intellectual property? And so for me, that's how I access my abundance. I just look and say, all right, what do I offer? What product or service do I offer? And how can I attach that to, all right, bet if I want to go on vacation with my family and that's about, all right, $20,000 for everybody, all right, bet I need one high ticket client. And so if I start looking at things in that way, I now know that my currency is me, is my intellectual property. And so building out a studio and making sure at any moment I could provide access or I could provide the content is why I said I had to do it.
That's key, man. That's key. Yeah. And I think you provided yourself with opportunity too.
Yes.
So you shifted your mindset, you provided yourself for opportunity, and you no longer are looking at currency as money, you're looking at currency as your talent.
Yeah.
And you no longer are looking at things like it costs a certain amount of money. You're like, hey, I can access this with a certain amount of clients and make things shake and move for yourself, which is what true manifestation is. It's your desire plus your actions equals what you get in your return.
Yeah.
Now, people see Ash Cash and they say, you know what? He popping, he got the studio, wonderful family, making the money, out here getting it, abundance within your network. What is your biggest financial failure to date?
Wow. Biggest financial failure to date had to be, when my transition from being a corporate executive to entrepreneur. Back in, I would say 2011, I was making six figures as a manager at a bank, and then I wrote my first book, 2009. And I decided, 2010, I was just about to turn 30. I said, I'm a retire from banking. Threw myself a retirement party at the 40/40 club. I was like,
nice.
I'm out. What I didn't know is, because I never had entrepreneurs in my family, I thought that fame equals money. And so because I was on Hot 97 and Black Enterprise and all these things, I thought that I had made it. And so my first year as an entrepreneur, I made 60 grand, which some people might be like, wow, that's a lot of money.
You popping.
You popping. But the truth is, I was already living a six-figure lifestyle. And so now I can't afford my mortgage. Now I can't afford my car note. Now I have to make certain decisions to decide, what direction, like what's going to get paid and what's not going to get paid. And so I almost went through foreclosure, right? I almost went through a period of downturns and the financial decision that was the worst financial decision was I was too reliant on my physical labor, right? I was too reliant on working for money instead of changing my relationship with money and making sure that money was working for me. And so, after going through that period of, depression, right? This is mental health, mental wealth show. Literally would be in my driveway. My daughter was 2 at the time. I'm married. I'm crying, grown man crying, because I'm like, yo, what did you just do? Like it wasn't like it was the recession and now you quit this job, this thing that was secure, and you made a decision to be an entrepreneur, but you didn't really think this out. You didn't think about how it was going to affect other people. You didn't think about how having a backup, like you displaced your family, like there was so much that was going through my mind.
And as a leader of your family, that's even more weight.
Exactly, and so, I had to get to the space of, all right, now, I had to go back to work. But this time, all right, let me create, this income producing asset, invested in real estate and made better decisions to make sure that now going forward, we have a solid footing. So that I would say that was the biggest mistake I made.
And that's a big one because now you're dealing with, like I was saying, like it's a bigger weight whenever you're a single man and you make something like that, you're thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
You can go eat McDonald's or oodles and noodles or make you a sandwich every day. But when you're thinking about a wife and 2 children and your daughter is 2 at the time, that's a lot of pressure that you put on yourself. And a lot of things that you have to process when going through that.
Yeah.
What, after going back to work and now you're realizing like, okay, I'm pretty sure that was a humbling experience to you because you retired from banking, you threw yourself this party, you went out here and did the entrepreneur thing and you're like, I got to make a left turn. What was the biggest achievement or biggest success, I would say, that catapulted you to where you are right now?
Ooh.
What was that defining moment? Every man has a defining moment.
Yeah. I would say that my defining, I wouldn't necessarily say I had a defining moment. I just knew that it was incremental now, right? So now, I looked at it like there was going to be this one big thing that pushes me to the next level, but it wasn't, right? You know, as I wrote my first book, as I was on, you know, Black Enterprise, you know, as I was on, you know, television and things of that nature, I always thought like I made it, like there was this destination. But what I realized is that it's just a journey, right? And so I had several defining moments, right? Going back to work and then having the opportunity to become a CEO of a credit union, right? Pushed me to another stratosphere because now, you know, as a 31-year-old, being one of the youngest CEOs of a federally chartered bank was something that was very important. Being able to discuss mergers and acquisitions with billion-dollar CEOs and things of that nature helped shape my mind on how I was going to view money going forward. Even quitting my job, but then going back and then buying properties and becoming a landlord, that had a defining moment because now, you know, as a landlord, I don't need $100,000 to sustain my life anymore because I'm making $50,000 in passive income. So now I could demote myself and get a job that's $50,000 while I'm making, you know, $50,000 in passive income. I buy back my time, and now I have more time to focus on my information.
Right.
Then fast forward to, you know, having the opportunity to write books and be a best-selling author, and then, you know, the opportunity to you know, to have a radio show. I used to do radio in New York, and you know, did radio for about 4 years. So then, I mean, honestly, the pandemic was really a great time for me. If I were to choose a time that catapult, I would definitely choose as recent as the pandemic, because prior to the pandemic, I had been an entrepreneur that for a decade, for 10 years, right? But when the pandemic hit, everybody was home, and I had a lot of success, so it wasn't like, you know, I'm not a pandemic millionaire, right? Like I've had a lot of success prior to, but it actually helped accelerate it because now you get rid of all the gatekeepers, right? Now all the things that people thought mattered don't matter no more. And now they're focusing on the things that I've been saying for years, which is create multiple streams of income, change your relationship with money, like all the things that I was saying, now people care about. And so because everybody's home, I quantum leaped, right? I went from, you know, maybe 1 million people knowing about me to 10 million, right? I don't know the real number, but somewhere along that
I was in that number. I was watching,
you know what I'm saying? So like it went from like, maybe 1 million people have known about you throughout this 10-year, you know, span, but now 10 million people know, you know, and then now it just continues to quantum leap, right? Because now, as 10 million people know, you know, and now those 10 million are going to tell other people. Now that grows to 50 million, 100 million. So I would say that, you know, the preparation or the things that I did, you know, from 2009 to 2019 prepared me for this moment to where the world is watching. And now because they're watching, and you know, Malcolm Gladwell, right, in Outlier talks about putting 10,000 hours in. I already put the hours in. So now when the eyes are on me, I'm seasoned. I'm ready to go. And then now they're connected to me.
Jay-Z, a podcast.
That's it.
That's you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you said it.
You was cooking. You was cooking. I mean, I was watching, man, and I like to take in content that is on my frequency.
Yeah.
And I love what you're doing on Earn Your Leaders Network.
Yes, sir.
How has that experience been able to collaborate with men who are like-minded like yourself, and you're able to put your show on a network that is popping, that is pushing financial literacy, that's changing lives? How has that impacted?
Man, when I tell you,
and shout out to EYL,
yo,
man.
fat shout out to Shotty, fat shout out to Troy, fat shout out to Mike, fat shout out to everybody, AB, everybody over there. It literally is a dream come true, right? Because African proverb says you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. There is so much damage that was done to our community that there's still not enough of us. Even with all of the financial podcasts that are out now, there's still not enough.
Wow.
There's still opportunity. And so to be in a space or to be around brothers who understand that, who say, look, this is about the culture. This ain't about, I'm not trying to get fame.
This ain't
no
ego. Right.
It's about the culture.
Right.
What are we doing to push the culture forward? It was exhilarating. I mean, you know, from the day we connected, if anybody goes back to the early Earn Your Leisure days.
Oh, I remember the joint, the camera, single camera set up in New York.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
So I was episode number 26.
Yep.
We talked about my background as growing up in the projects, being a CEO of a credit union, writing books and things of that nature. And so to see that, and then a year later or a year and a half later, they start their own network, and I think I was the second show on the network. You know,
nice.
It's just something exhilarating, and just to continue to see the growth. When EYL says they're the biggest ever,
yes,
it's us,
yes,
right? Like the biggest ever is the viewers, is the hosts, it's them, it's everybody, it's the culture. Like this, we've never seen this happen ever.
No,
like the level of which our community is holding on to and embracing financial literacy. We have never seen this in the masses.
No.
And so this is a movement, like this is going down in history. Like I realize it now, but when I walk through the airport, when I go, to the gas station, like there's regular things that I thought I could do. I can't do it without people recognizing. But it ain't like, yo, Ash, like they recognize me because something I've done that impacted their life.
Positivity.
Like literally, I was just at the gas station pumping gas, and the guy didn't even see my face. I was on the phone and he heard my voice. And he said, yo, I know you.
Yes.
I know that voice.
Yes.
Right? And he was able to like, yo, salute King, thank you, you helped me. Da-da-da. So what I'm saying is like, this is something that we've never seen. It's a beautiful movement. And to do it with brothers who have no ego, brothers who care about the culture, who are genuine, who really are doing this for the right reasons. I'm just happy to still be relevant, to be, at the forefront of this movement. And like I said, there's still room. Right? There has to be more. Like
yes.
in order, like this is one of those situations where in order for any of the work that I've done, EYL is doing, like all of the other, financial podcasts or platforms out there, in order for that to matter, there has to be more people to come up, to care about the culture and to change, what's cool, right? Being broke ain't cool no more, right? Being whatever the girls say, a F-boy, it's not cool no more, right? Like if you're not taking care of your family, if you're not figuring out how to create multiple streams of income and protecting your assets and building businesses, like all of the wealth principles that we thought for a long time were reserved for other people, if we're not like, that's cool. Now that's cool. And we just need to continue to make that part of our everyday language. And as long as we keep doing that, then we will have access to the abundance that's our birthright.
Absolutely, man. And I'm telling you, EYL, Earn Your Leisure, is essential for the culture.
100%, yeah.
I mean, the things that I've learned just as an individual, as a podcaster, the things about financial literacy, shout out to Ian, Master Investor,
salute, bro.
The stuff I learned from Ian on investing,
is a
beast, the wizard.
Man.
The wizard.
Yes, sir.
So the things I've learned from those men, right? That those are the type of men we consistently need in our community.
Absolutely.
Those are the type of
mortgage guy.
MG, 19. We're able in that group, able to tap into real estate, financial literacy, spirituality, anything that you could possibly think of. You're on it. Just sign Ronnie Brown. I love it.
Salute to Ronnie.
Providing the women with a safe space to talk. Like even with Black Fly on the Wall, we have anytime we film for Black Fly on the Wall podcast, we always make sure that we film an all women episode.
Yeah.
Jasquelle is on my team. She's the woman on our team. She provides us balance.
Yeah.
So we're replicating what's essential in nature, right?
Yeah.
You have to have those divine and masculine principles within and those feminine energies and masculine energies so that there's balance in the work that you do.
Yeah.
And it's essential, man. I think all in all, what everybody is doing collectively over there, EYL, what we're doing here, is all about shifting the perspective in the minds of the people.
Yeah.
To plant a seed, right? The beautiful thing about the mind is that it has a subconscious.
Yeah.
And you can sow poison in your subconscious, and you can sow prosperity in your conscious, and both of them will grow.
Yeah.
It's all about what you choose to sow.
Yeah.
And so we have to always make sure that we're accountable for the things that we digest, not just food, but we're talking about the things that we read, the music we listen to. I was listening to something this morning that's talking about how a guy went on a 10-year radio cleanse. Mm-hmm. No radio, no hip hop, no nothing except for when he worked out, because he only wanted to listen to audiobooks and things that will make him grow.
Yeah.
So it's essential for us to consistently feed our subconscious, feed our mind with the things that are needed so that we can continue to multiply in the things that we want. Yeah. Last question. You wrote 13 books.
Yes, sir.
What is the favorite book that you've written? What's the favorite book you've written and the most impactful? Second question is the most impactful book that you've written.
Favorite book that I've written, Mind Right, Life Right. It's about to change though, because I'm writing a new book called Abundance is Your Birthright. And I have a feeling that is going to be my favorite because it's going to encapsulate all of the philosophies that I've ever learned into one. But I would say Mind Right Now, Mind Right, Life Right, Manifesting Dreams Through the Laws of the Universe is my favorite book. It's my favorite because I didn't write it. I think it was downloaded by God. Like, I would literally wake up like 2 a.m, go upstairs to my son's room and literally like be writing stuff like I'd be half
like you half sleep.
Be just writing.
I need that. I need that.
And then I'll read it and I'll be like, yo, you wrote that?
I need that.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that was the one that every time I read it, I listen to the audio, I'll be like, yo.
You was in your bag.
I was in my bag with that. So I would say that, that one was my favorite to write or favorite to read now.
I got a feeling Abundance is Your Birthright gonna be up there with the Eckhart Tolle type.
Yeah.
Type vibe, New York bestseller.
Yeah, I believe that. I received that. I appreciate you. Because I really think though that at the level of knowledge that God has downloaded in my brain, I think Abundance is Your Birthright. That's gonna be the one. Mm-hmm. My most impactful, I would say, is From the Block to the Bank.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that one. I've seen you promote that one.
Yeah, because From the Block to the Bank is it's a memoir, but it's really a blueprint for anybody who needs guidance on how they could live their best life, how they could maximize their full potential. I was able to write a book, chronicling everything, like how I got kicked out of school in the first grade. I was 6. My first time getting kicked out of school, I was 6 years old. Wow. Right? First grade, 5th grade, 9th grade, expelled in the 10th grade. Wow. It talks about all of the things that I've been through in my life to make me who I am today. And I wrote that on my 40th birthday. And so I literally have 40 principles that anybody could use. I mean, it's a blueprint, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm the first multimillionaire in my family. And so it literally gives you that mindset of how do you get from zero to that space of not only just like I have abundance in all my life, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not just monetary. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's a place you can go where somebody will say something bad about Ash. Like, I got great relationships on every level. I'm talking about, from the guy to the corner to your favorite celebrity, you name it. Like, I got great relationships.
And that's key. It's important.
Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? So there's abundance in all of my life. And so, that book has taught, is really my blueprint on how do you access that abundance in real time.
I love it, man. Look, this is an amazing conversation.
Brother, appreciate you, man.
Man, I think people are going to really be able to listen to this, digest this, play it back. listen in the car, send it to your friends.
Yes, sir.
I think this is one of my favorite interviews.
I appreciate you, man.
It's one of my favorite interviews.
Thank
I think the overarching concept of you were born rich is that you have to understand the infinity
Yeah.
that you have
Yeah.
within the universe to achieve anything you want to achieve. If it's money, cars you want to drive, houses you have to see it. You have to see it with your mind's eye.
Yeah.
And you have to have a crystal view, a crystal image of what you want. And you can simply do that by deploying some of the things that we talked about in this interview about shifting perspective, focusing on the now, limiting excuses, focusing on accountability. All of those things are fundamental principles and objective things that you can deploy in your everyday life to shift your overall perspective and for you to affirm to yourself that you were born rich.
That's it.
So much love, man. Thank you for the much gratitude for you for coming through, tapping in with Black Fly on the Wall, tapping in with Mental Wellness. And I'm looking for part 2, man.
Let's go.
Good go. Let's go, man.
Let's go.
Thank you,
Let's
man.
go.
Thank you, man.
Put me on the Celestine prophecy. Nothing here is stopping me. Consciously or bodily, low energy don't bother me. Love is my priority, so my vibrations 444 sonically. My brain working out, meditation, my cardio. They hid it from us in the books. You provided the audio. I am